So a very, very, very long time ago, we did a video called The Basics, which was essentially the basics of how to write interesting and different bass lines. Today, I'm going to expand on that slightly by explaining how to write bass lines that fit in better with the traditional rhythm section of the band. It is worth noting that before I start talking about this, not every genre of music will benefit from this. This is more catered towards like your indie funk, soul, pop kind of stuff. Because some genres kind of demand that the guitar and the bass play the same, but I will leave that up to you. As we always say, experiment, create new things. First thing I want to talk about is accenting. Obviously, your bass line has to fit in really tightly with your drums, and a really good way of making that happen is by accenting in the same place that the drums do. Usually drums will accent when they hit the snare, so a really, really simple way of doing that is just play the note a little bit harder when the snare's on, and that will create just a little bit of a groove that will get you going. Here's an example.
You'll notice in that example that Joe's essentially, whenever the kick drum or the snare drum is playing, that's when Joe's playing. Essentially, the strumming pattern that Joe has taken on is literally just the drum beat.
Yeah. The second thing I want to talk about is walking bass lines. Walking bass lines are essentially when you're not just playing the root note, it's when you walk about the scale a little bit and add a little bit of a bass melody in. This is probably the best point to say that just because you are playing a sort of bass melody, it's important to sort of know your place within the band, as bad as that sounds, because you're the bass player, or at least I hope you're the bass player if you're watching this video. Your place is creating the groove and rhythm and feel of the song. If you're fancying about and playing all kinds of riffs all the time, we're not really going to get a good groove. Leave that to the guitarist. Let them be fancy and show off and do all that stuff. Us bassists don't need to do that. We're happy to just sit back and create the bones of the song. So here with this next example, I've pretty much just added a few extra notes into the bass line that I was playing that fit in with the scale of the song. The key of the song, by the way, if anyone is interested, is E minor. With this next example, we're going to add guitars in that are going to be playing the chords of what it was that I was just playing in the previous example. This is because in this example, I'm going to play a pedal bass line. I'm not going to be moving with the chords. I'm going to be staying around my root note, which is E. Yeah, I'm going to be adding a few extra things there just to keep the walking bass line going, but essentially I'm going to be pedaling around the same note. If you want a section in your song that kind of feels really grounded and static and not really progressing while everything else is progressing, then this is a really good method to use. It's sort of, while the rest of the song is kind of journeying and going wherever else it needs to go, the bass and drums are staying solid and keeping the feel in one place. This is really good if this particular section of the song isn't really progressing lyrically or anything. If it's just talking about the here and now, this is a really good method to use. Last thing that I'm going to talk to you about today is fills. Drummers love to fill. Every drummer that I've ever played with loves to fill all the fucking time. And it's their way of showing off, I guess. So maybe in this example, we get to show off just a little bit. But because the drummer's doing it too, we're still keeping the groove of the song and we get to do a little riff too. As the drummer is showing off and doing whatever they want to do, as bassists, we are just kind of following the drummer because that is essentially our role. And because the drummer gets to show off, so do we. So there was a few examples about how to create a bass line that fits in more with the traditional rhythm section. If you want to see more Sharpen Your Songwriting videos, then click over there. And if you want to see our best of videos, then click over there.
What do you mean they're good? They're good then. We spent a lot of effort on them.
Have a good day.
Well, bloody shit.